to sleep, buddy. Oh yeah. Shoot. Oh, never mind. I thought it was like every time that you fell asleep, something would happen overnight. And like I said, I still have that guy that has a cold. Even though it's in a different district, I'm just trying to make sure that he's looking good for the most part. Wait, let me just double check to see if I'm crazy. Yeah, this guy. Cadigan Bates. You need what I have. This person afflicted with something, it would seem. Dorothy Crane. Can go back and treat this guy's fatigue if I choose to do so. Okay. Alright, so definitely gonna give that to... Ooh, hey. Good to see you, Mortimer. Nice, got some codeine. Hi, buddy.
Good evening, Miss.
I'm okay.
I have retrieved your letter, Mr. Goswick. I can assure you that nobody read it but me.
Thank you. This is for you. For your help. And for your silence.
I think you should talk to your mother. It would be good for both of you.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. I'll think about it. Now please, let me be.
Got 100
go now,
shillings.
But
Alright.
Don't waste your time with me.
Investigation succeeded. Like the sound of that. Alright. Let me see. I know that there's this. Find out the cause of death. How do I increase my mesmerize level again? I completely forgot how to do that. I totally forgot how to do that. More codeine. Apparently the hospital got restocked or something. Yeah, you know, I'm a doctor. I do important things. Like kill people. As a doctor. Is it? Yeah. No, it's not. Get me out of this place. Alright. Pembroke. Now. Go around the big building. This is what we want. Right? Find out the cause of death somehow. Don't know for sure. Can I go in here? No. What about in here? No. Alright. The harder they fall. I've read the report of Dr. Tippett's concerning the death of Samuel Connor. I'm not quite convinced right now. Perhaps I should conduct my own investigation. Okay. Samuel Connor. Who we at, boy? Have to yeet over this wall? No. Alright. That scared the living shit out of me. Alright. Oh, can't go in there. Oh yeah, I'm way off. Way off. I'm breaking stools with my feet. Alright, so what the hell? It's like... How the hell do I get there? It's literally like right over the wall here. Um... What in the hell? Ugh. Okay. I'm in the morgue. Like a basement or something? I might have to talk to Swansea just to see if I can unlock some place that I don't know about. Ah, damn it. Didn't want to go back in this run. I mean, place. Maybe I do. Huh, good to know. I can apparently just keep coming back to these places and might have more drops for me. Or I could just be taking a wild guess. I don't know. Seems to me that it's the first one. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Oh! Got lucky with that one though. Okay. Oh, my GT. 50. Alright. Take whatever they have. So I try to uncover this mess.
I cannot enter.
Yeah, it seems to me that I need to talk to Dr. Edgar Swansea. Oh my god! Where did you come from? Can't parry the grab. You play fighting games? Alright, he's done. He's done. That's it. Okay. There it is. No, you can't do it in midair. Oh god. Please stop. Oh no! Okay. Might be getting closer. I might be. Oh, God. Okay. Take some out of you. Thank you. Hey. Take some out of you. Okay. He's like, you got me. You son of a bitch. Alright. Got this. Oh, yes, okay. So with the damage
Multiple abrasions and scarring on the
So
arms
bright.
and legs. Old and distinctive injuries of a sailor or
Sorry.
a fisherman. Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips.
Still bright. I'm very
Some sort
sorry.
of drug overdose, perhaps? The chest was originally opened to perform the operation. The sutures are clean, but the chest has been reopened. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death.
Ooh.
And then he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked.
Oh, it is time we talked.
It's
Mr.
locked.
Tippets. I just got a certain tippets that he didn't want me to find out. Oh, I'm busting his ass for this. Alright, hold on. Let me... See there? Right. What's this? Oh. Okay. And they came back. Hey, hey. No. Okay. Let us leave. Interrogate. Oh, I gotta interrogate both of them. I'll start with the girlfriend. They always tend to break. Nah, not always. But this one does. She seems like she does. I'm in the right place. Yeah, I'm in the right place. Okay. Right? I'm in the right place? Yeah, I'm in the right place. Maybe if I ask myself another couple times, maybe. Hey, 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 hey.
Good evening.
What are you doing?
Good evening.
I know some things.
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know his mistake caused a patient's death.
If I had not covered up his error, Dr. Tippett would have been fired from this hospital. I could not let that happen.
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning patients, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed. Do you really think we can afford to lose a brilliant practitioner like Dr. Tippett's in our situation?
Perhaps you did it with the best intentions, Nurse Brannigan, but you took a great risk. Must I remind you that a man died?
You mean you've never made a mistake? Never covered your tracks? Come on, Doctor. I wasn't born yesterday.
Goodbye, Nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Alright, we're my boy Tippett. Look at you.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Not with these eyes, buddy.
Corcoran, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
Nature of the
What
mistake.
was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error. My diagnosis was wrong, and the administered dosage was too strong.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
Who was this patient?
I don't know. Some sick man from the docks, maybe a fisherman. I had no time to talk with him. No one claimed a body.
I will cover for you, Dr. Tippett, by keeping what happened to Mr. Connor to myself.
I don't know what to say, actually. I can't exactly force you to become my accomplice.
You didn't force me. This is my decision to make. I believe you're still of use to the hospital, considering the situation.
Then I can make you this promise. As soon as the epidemic is eradicated, I will resign.
Okay. Missing one more tip for Tippett.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Okay.
Perhaps I should reconsider the offer from that candidate.
Anybody else that's got something? Except for this guy, I killed him. Alright. Yes. Yes. All of this stuff.
It's locked.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as
Look at this.
vertiginous as chatting about
Looks like
vampires
Flanders with
you,
brown
I
hair.
say.
Dr.
This
Flanders.
must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
I'm not some doe-eyed student, Edgar. I understand we both have something to gain from this relationship.
Ooh,
Very well.
saucy.
I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her.
Pay her
Look for
a
someone
visit.
impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Talk to the hospital benefactor after I raid his room. Oh, jeez. Rare species of vampires. For how many centuries did we consider that vampire was the vernacular term for what we had learned to call Ekin? Until the day 4 explorers of the Brotherhood found proof in Siberia that Volkuds were a lupine type of vampire, we considered these creatures to be linked to the mythological werewolf. Now we know it is not true. What about the rest? What about the Rakshasa from my homeland? What about the Chinese Jiangxi or the Puchen of southern Chile? And without even leaving the beautiful Great Britain, what about the stories about bat-shaped women sometimes seen flying around St. James's Church in Louth? What about the creature only identified as a disaster in some obscure testimonies, which tried to destroy London in 1666 by spreading plague all around the city? What about the Nimrod, the mythical figure of the restless vampire hunter, sometimes described by ancestral British Ekans as a legendary huntsman who only feeds on his prey's blood and could go unnoticed amongst the mortals and immortals? I tell you, my brothers, we never can be too sure of what we could find. If only we could forget for a few minutes what we're supposed to already know. Okay? Different types. Who was that? Warning letter. I must inform you of my deepest reservations concerning the Dr. Thuro Strickland and Harvey Fiddick case. Mr. Fiddick has been hospitalized after a severe work injury. He may permanently lose the use of his right arm if not treated adequately. Dr. Strickland claims that a surgical procedure may save the man's arm completely. I say it may also sever its functions for good if complications arise. Our young colleague is an audacious and daring surgeon who might prove a great professional in a few years, but for now he lacks the skills to perform such a risky procedure. Need I remind you of the mistakes he made in the past? Since Dr. Strickland refuses to listen to me, I strongly advise you to forbid him to perform such a hazardous experiment. Is that a tip? Oh, it is. Okay. All these tips, and then I get to make it like a game show. Who gets sucked? Wow, phrasing. I will be glad to manage the temporary morgue as soon as it's open. As I have already told you, I was a doctor during the war, and I would be glad to serve my country again. I know it is not the same being a physician for the dead as it is for the living, but I believe it is important to welcome and take good care of our departed too. Rest assured, I will do my best to fully perform this new duty to the best of my ability. Concerning the question of my qualifications, I'm sorry I can't give you anything more valuable than my parole. I swear to you that my regiment made me a doctor during the war, and that I saved many lives. If my word is not enough, you can contact the military administration to verify my experience and skills. They will confirm that even if I never followed any medical studies, the war taught me what a doctor really needs to know. And I have a tip on Rakesh. Can I talk to you?
Do you need something?
I have questions.
Then ask away.
You mentioned something about a secret society. A brotherhood, if I recall. Could you elaborate?
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole for several years. We are pledged to monitor and report vampire activity in England as impartial scientific observers.
That explains your nightly wanderings about the docks and the questions you ask.
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led us to that part of town. There was something as yet unseen that set those chain of events in motion.
You know, quick question. People can see this in 60 frames, right? Is that right? Just making sure.
Yet you don't fear me. And still, you know the monster that lurks beneath the civilized surface.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries. We believe you are as supernatural as a lion is to a gazelle.
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires, what could you tell me about my condition and how it came about?
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings, and the penny dreadfuls. They do not scratch the surface of the truth you now find yourself in.
The sun. The morning
Thank
following
you.
my transformation. Its rays burned me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Must I take a life to live?
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
Good point. That means I should eat somebody else.
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know about Pembroke Hospital?
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on. We support the community here, as well as provide health care.
Where do we stand today?
Well, to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first wave of the Spanish flu last summer took us by surprise. We lack many of the basic necessities needed.
What do you expect of me?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier. This is a war. This white coat's still a uniform. We fight to help the poor, the sick of the East End, the forgotten.
Okay.
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory, William Bishop, I believe, was he a vampire?
He was a Skald, technically speaking. The debate rages as to their classification.
Skald.
Some think them a subspecies of vampire, others something else.
How do Skulls come into existence?
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
Just for clarity, what differences are there between myself and a Skull?
A skull is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires... Now, vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
This game.
We'll see each other again.
This game would definitely have made out like a Bandit if it was a Netflix original or something like that. But that's just my opinion.